Hello everyone, and welcome to part 3 of this online workshop series for breaking through PCOS and endometriosis. So we've made it to the last one. Today we're going to be talking all about powerhouse herbs and foods to help you have a regular pain-free period. So welcome to this third and final workshop. So just a couple of housekeeping items before we go on. Once again, I just need to inform you that this workshop is being recorded. So I've turned off the participants video and you can just see mine. So because of that, just a reminder that you will be emailed the replay to this, and as well as anyone who wasn't able to make it live, they'll also be receiving the replay. So as we're going through, if you're worried about taking notes and not being able to keep up, just remember that you will be receiving the replay, so you can always go back and check your notes and take your notes then. So that being said, I'm going to share my screen and we can get to it. All right, so I want to start today by just asking you that if you'd like to have a regular pain-free period, just type a yes in the comment box. All right, type a yes if that's something that you'd like. If you'd like to do away with cramps and debilitating pain, if you'd like less mood swings and more energy, I want to know how that sounds to you, so just type a yes in the comment box if that sounds good to you. So this was definitely something that was important to me 7 years ago. It was the top of mind as I embarked on my own healing journey. And many of you here have heard my story, and so today I'm just going to tell you a part of it. And you can actually go back to part 1 of this workshop series to get the whole story. So growing up, I struggled with an irregular and non-existent cycle. I mean, I would get it like once a year. And I also struggled with acne as a teenager. Now, this led to a lack of confidence in myself and in myself as a woman because the only option that was offered to me at the time was birth control. So I went on birth control from a very young age. And for 10 years, the pill did its job of making sure my period showed up each and every month. But little did I know that I was simply masking a symptom and that the root cause was still brewing underneath. So in 2012, that root cause showed itself again when I actually went into labor with our beautiful little boy, 3 months prematurely at just 27 weeks gestation. Now he weighed just 2.2 pounds and he would stay in the hospital for 3 months. Now this was my wake-up call, because having to watch our son literally have to fight for his life and seeing his strength and determination to not only survive what he did, but to start thriving, caused me to take a stand for my own health. And this is where my journey truly began. And it was a journey that took me 5 years to finally find the right information that got right down to the root cause and turned my health around, and it literally changed my life. So I was able to regulate my cycle. I was the only woman alive, I think, happy to see her period 2 months in a row, the first time that happened to me. My energy improved tremendously, my anxiety reduced, and I finally understood what was behind my acne all these years. Now, healing my body really ignited a passion in me that I didn't know was always there to spread the word. And I wanted every other woman suffering to know that she could heal, that she doesn't have to suffer or be in pain. So I don't want you to have to wait 5 years to get out of pain. I don't even want you to have to wait another day, to be honest, never mind 5 years, which is why I'm here and so passionate about spreading the work that I do. So now I get to support women with PCOS and endometriosis to reverse your symptoms, take back your power, and live life on your terms. So I'm super excited to dive deeper today into some powerhouse herbs and foods that can really have a positive effect on your period going forward. So today we're going to be talking about herbs that heal, regulate, and reduce pain during your cycle and beyond. We're going to be talking about hormone balancing and period healing foods. We're going to talk about how you can incorporate these items into your diet, because it's one thing to learn these things, but it's another thing to actually incorporate and take action. There's going to be some time for questions at the end. And then I'm also going to be sharing how you can take the next step for those of you who are ready to go deeper. So that being said, let's jump right into things here. So my mission is really to break the silence that exists around women and our cycle, right? And I take a stand for women so that we can get out of pain and live the lives that we were truly meant to live. So no more suffering in pain and silence, no more being held back, just being able to live the life that you truly want to live and create for yourself. So a myth that I want to bust today is that because it's so common for women to experience pain or discomfort during your cycle, that it's somehow normal, right? That it seems to be accepted now that this is normal. But I don't want a single woman here to think that you have to endure any kind of pain or discomfort, all right? That's not our normal, and that's the good news. There's a better way, a much better way. So let's start by talking about why we would need herbs in the first place. Well, the first thing is toxins. And in part one of this workshop series, we talked a lot about toxins and how they contribute to our ill health. So herbs can actually support us to detox from and heal from the damage that these things can do. Stress. We all live on planet stress. We live in this go, go, go society mentality, and that has a big effect on our health. And so we can use things like herbs and foods to support us through that. Diet is another one. We don't always necessarily know or take action on having a diet that truly supports our health in a way where our bodies can be balanced and in flow. So using things like herbs and foods can help us there as well. Pathogens is another big one. There's being more and more studies being done showing that bacteria and viruses are behind a lot of the symptoms that we experience today, especially around our periods. So let's jump right into the herbs then. So these are some of the herbs that I'm going to be talking about that relieve symptoms but also heal the body, which is the true key part there. So we're going to be talking about raspberry leaf. We're going to be talking about nettle leaf. I'm going to introduce you to lemon balm if you've never heard of it before. And I'm also going to be talking about hibiscus, which is probably one of my favorites, both in flavor and in the properties and healing elements that it brings. All right, so raspberry leaf. In my opinion, raspberry leaf was literally made for women and our reproductive systems, and you're going to see why. So it is loaded with vitamins and minerals that both nourish and heal the body, right? Which is critical when we're talking about healing from things that throw our bodies out of balance. This really helps us to have the building blocks that our body needs to heal and get back into balance. It contains something called ferulic acid, which is an antioxidant that helps to repair the reproductive system. All right, now this is one of the reasons that I say that raspberry leaf is made for women and our reproductive systems, because the actual job of this antioxidant is to heal and repair the reproductive system. So I don't think you can argue there how much raspberry leaf can really support women in our health. Lastly, raspberry leaf is a superstar at balancing hormones. Now, hormones aren't the only reason that we experience these different symptoms during our period, but it certainly helps to be able to have some support in being able to produce and balance our hormones. So raspberry leaf is a great support. Now, many of you have heard me talk about raspberry leaf before, and it's because, you know, it is just truly one of the most incredible herbs that you can consume to help your body to heal and get back into balance. So I absolutely love it, using it for women's health. The other one that you might be familiar with is nettle leaf. Now, nettle leaf is one of the best herbs for healing and prevention in general, but when combined with other things like raspberry leaf, it just becomes a powerhouse for supporting women and our cycles and being in balance. So it is packed full of nourishing nutrients. You've heard me say this before, but it might only be rivaled by something like spirulina. It is so nutrient dense. Right, and those nutrients just enter the body and immediately start to get to work at healing and repairing the body. It is a potent anti-inflammatory. Now, this is incredibly important, especially when we're talking about period pain. You've heard me talk about this before. Anytime we have swelling, especially during our cycle, the pain that you experience is amplified because if you have any kind of sensitivities or cysts, fibroids, adhesions, anything like that going on in your uterus, in your ovaries, it amplifies the pain because it starts to push against those adhesions, and it can cause a great deal of pain and spasming. So having something like nettle leaf to support your body to reduce that inflammation is an incredible support. It's also a strong immune booster. So what this means is it can actually help our body to neutralize toxins that are wreaking havoc on our health. So again, incredibly important in being able to battle things like viruses and bacteria, like I mentioned, that are a huge reason why women are suffering today. Lastly, it supports the endocrine and nervous system. So we all know why supporting the endocrine system is important, right? Because the endocrine system is largely responsible for producing and maintaining hormone balance. So anything that supports that is going to support women to have a regular pain-free period. Now, the reason the nervous system is important is for a couple of reasons. When we're under stress from our everyday lives, or from toxins, or from bacteria and viruses, different pathogens that we're experiencing, our nervous system can really take a hit. And that can cause us to be almost in this fight or flight state all the time. And that can really take a toll on our health. So having a support that helps to bring that nervous system back to balance can really support our bodies to be in a state to heal. All right, so that's nettle leaf. An incredible support for women, incredible support for us during our cycles, and just an incredible support for healing and prevention in general. All right, next I want to talk to you about lemon balm. And lemon balm has been explained as the elixir of life, which sounds pretty sexy, doesn't it? So it is an incredible antiviral and antibacterial, and we've touched on it a little bit, but this is something that I actually get more into in my group programs and when I work with people one-on-one. We go into why viruses and bacteria, what their role is in causing things like PCOS, endometriosis, and all of these different imbalances that we're seeing. So having something that battles that is an incredible tool to have in your tool belt. It also contains something called terpene, which helps to relieve anxiety, depression, fatigue, right? Those are huge symptoms that a lot of women experience during their cycles. It also helps to relieve things like hypertension, high blood pressure, all right? Those are things that are often associated with women who have PCOS. And it is great for calming the nervous system, which we just talked about. So you might start to see a lot of similarities between the herbs that we're talking about today, and that's not by coincidence. When we start to use these herbs that really focus in on areas that support women and support our cycles and support balancing hormones, it really starts to have an effect on having a regular pain-free period. So what we're doing here is we're really bringing in targeted herbs that help us to support our bodies to have the building blocks that it needs to heal. Lastly, lemon balm has the ability to promote a healthy endocrine system. Again, we've already explored why that is so important for women's health in balancing hormones and supporting our cycles. So lemon balm is an amazing herb to have on hand and consume regularly to help us with our health. All right, lastly, I want to talk to you about hibiscus. Now, hibiscus is known to improve health and vitality, and I always like to say that it is just the spitting image of that when you look at it, because it has this beautiful magenta color and it just screams like health and vitality. So it contains powerful antioxidants, all right? And you can see this, you can see it in the color. You just know that it is loaded with amazing properties to help you to heal. So it's loaded with antioxidants, which really helps to support our bodies to fight against things like cancers, all right? And it also protects the health of our cells. So having something that's anti-cancerous in your tool belt is really important, because when you have something, again, like cysts, fibroids, adhesions, all of these different things forming in different parts of your reproductive system, you don't want that going to the next level, right? We don't want those things turning into something like cancer. So having things that you can do to prevent that from happening is essential in my mind. And hibiscus is just amazing at doing that. Hibiscus can aid with things like weight loss, depression, mood swings, and I'm going to explain why in a second. It can also lower blood pressure and relieve constipation. All right, high blood pressure is something that, again, is associated with PCOS. Constipation and even the other side to diarrhea can be largely associated with endometriosis. But the reason that hibiscus can support with all of these symptoms is because it is a huge supporter of the liver. All right, it offers an amazing support to the liver. And all of these things that we just talked about, all of these different symptoms are deeply rooted in the health of your liver. So having a supporter of the liver is amazing. So if you were to have a cup of tea of this before you go to bed each evening, so maybe after supper, that would be an amazing support to your liver because as we know, as we've explored in previous workshops, our liver works really hard overnight to cleanse and repair itself. And so when you drink something like hibiscus, you're really giving it amazing building blocks and tools to be able to do that. So that's a little tip for you there. So these herbs can be purchased in a tea form, like I've kind of been talking about. So I personally like and trust the traditional medicinal brand, and you can purchase that online, or it can even just be purchased at Superstore in the natural section aisle of the store. So what I suggest, so here we've talked about 4 incredible herbs that can really support our health. So what I suggest is that you simply bring these in on a rotation basis, right? You have a cup of tea every day, a different kind of tea every day. And then, like I mentioned at the conference, if you were there, and I mentioned in other videos I talk about, if you make a concentrated tea of raspberry and nettle together, especially during your cycle, then that can really, really help give you some amazing support to be able to have a regular pain-free period. Now, these herbs can also be purchased in a tincture form / just a more concentrated form. But if you're going to purchase something like that, I really suggest working with a practitioner to make sure that you're using a dosage that is right for you. All right, so moving on to foods. So when you're looking to heal, it's really important to look for foods that nourish at the micro level, not simply the macro level. A lot of theories out there really focus on the macros, but it's really important to look at foods that offer you nourishment at a micro level, because that's really where the healing begins, and that's really where we start to give our body the building blocks it needs to truly heal and flourish. So the first thing that I want to talk to you about today is fruit. All right, now fruit is the most powerful healer for the reproductive system. All right, the term fruit of the loins is not a coincidence. Fruit is literally made to nourish, heal, and protect the reproductive system. Now, there's a lot of misinformation these days out there about fruit because of its sugar content. And I just want to say this on the record that there is the sugar in fruit and the sugar in something processed like a white table sugar or even cane sugar, like any kind of processed sugar. It is not the same thing. It is not the same sugar at all whatsoever. So if you've been led to believe that fruit is somehow detrimental to your health, I'm hoping that today can change your mind, because it is truly one of the most powerful foods you can consume to help your health, to heal your body. All right, so it helps to prevent illness, and that is because it is loaded with vitamins, minerals, phytochemicals, antioxidants. It is loaded with so many different properties that help, that really give our bodies what they need to be able to heal and thrive. And you can just look at fruit, look at the beautiful colors, look at the beautiful flavors, the hydration that exists in them. Fruit was made for us to consume. It slows the aging process, and again, that is because, well, one of the reasons is because they're loaded with antioxidants, and antioxidants literally reverse the signs of aging because it reverses oxidation occurring in our body, and that's actually what causes aging. It kills pathogens, right? We've talked a little bit about today at how these pathogens can wreak havoc on our body. So we want to bring in foods that help to kill those. Now, I just want to use an example here. So say you had a bacterial infection or you had some kind of infection that you were going to use an antibiotic for. Now the antibiotic will likely kill the bacteria that you're trying to go after, but it also kills the good bacteria in your body. Fruit, on the other hand, will also kill the pathogen, but it will actually feed the good bacteria and boost your immune system so your body can be stronger to fight that pathogen. All right, so I can't stress enough how important fruit is to your health. So fruit nourishes at a cellular level. Again, it's because of all these wonderful properties that it is loaded with. And it gives our bodies the much needed glucose that it needs, because our bodies run on glucose. That is a fact. That is what our bodies run on. And so I always like to go with working with the body. I don't like to go against it. I don't like to trick it. And so our bodies run on glucose. So that's what I'm going to want to feed it to be able to function optimally. So I hope that kind of makes sense. So I don't want you to buy into the fruit fear that exists today, all right? It's probably the worst thing you could ever do for your health, especially in the long term. It is the most powerful weapon at your healing disposal, all right? These fruits were put on this land for us to consume. So I want to talk a little bit how you incorporate fruit into your diet. So I love to have it for breakfast. I love being able to start the day feeding my brain and my body with the much needed glucose that it needs to thrive during the day. I love to snack on it. I snack on it in the morning and in the afternoon, and this is what I have my clients doing as well. You can add it to salads, all right? So I wouldn't add it to a salad that contained meat or any kind of cooked food, and that's just because fruit is very easily digested. And so when you consume it with something that digests a little slower, then it can cause some, it can cause your tummy to be a little bit bloated, or you might see a tummy ache or something like that. And that's just because that fruit is kind of fermenting, waiting for this other food to digest. So I would add it to a salad that had a lot of greens and veggies and things like that. And then you can add some fruit so you get that glucose in. I love to make smoothies. They're like my favorite thing. That's actually how I start my day. And fruit smoothies just taste amazing. So it doesn't have to, it doesn't take a lot of bribery to consume things like that. You can also blend them and freeze them and consume them as like a frozen ice cream. I'm just gonna take a sip of water here. All right, so you can get creative and have fun with this. The fruits are sweet and they taste amazing, so it's usually not hard to make them taste good. All right, the other food that I want to talk to you about today is sweet potatoes. All right, because sweet potatoes are the #1 healing food for endometriosis, or for anyone experiencing that debilitating pain during your period, during your cycle. All right, so sweet potatoes are a powerhouse food. So they are high in potassium, which helps to regulate fluid balance. Now, we have talked about this a little bit already before, but this is key for reducing pain. So again, when we are retaining fluid, we have a bit of swelling, and during our cycles, what that amounts to is an increase in pain. So having something like sweet potatoes to balance that fluid retention really helps to reduce pain. And they also help to remove toxins and heavy metals from the reproductive system, all right? We've talked about how the detrimental toxins can be. So having something that removes them is, again, another tool that you want to have in your tool belt. Again, they are also anti-cancerous, and they eliminate problematic estrogen. I'm sure you've all heard about how problematic synthetic estrogens can be, especially estrogens found in things like plastics and that. So sweet potatoes actually help to eliminate this estrogen from the body, which can really help to bring things back into balance so that you can have a regular pain-free period, which is what we're always going for. So for a medicinal effect, you really want to bring sweet potatoes into your diet daily. So if you are someone who suffers from endometriosis, or if you are someone who has not been diagnosed, but you suffer from debilitating pain during your period, or you are someone who gets sick during your period, so you can get vomiting or diarrhea, or that even like a spasming effect, you want to bring sweet potatoes into your life daily. And when you start to bring them in daily, it can really have a compound effect in the healing ability that it has on your body, and you can really see a dramatic reduction in the amount of pain that you feel. So you can bring sweet potatoes in simply by baking them. They're sweet, as their name suggests. So when you bake them, even just on their own, they taste amazing. You can roast them in the oven with some honey or a little bit of maple syrup and serve them as a side dish, or use that in some salads. I love to throw those into salads as well. So there's many ways that you can incorporate sweet potatoes into your diet. Sweet potato fries is another one. You can just bake up some fries. Those also taste amazing. I like to serve them with like a little bit of guacamole. So yeah, so if you start bringing sweet potatoes into your life daily, you can really see a difference in the pain you experience during your period. So this is the third workshop that we've done in this series. So I just want to know if you've gotten valuable information so far. I hope you have. So if you have, just type a yes in the comments. It's always my goal to give you valuable information that you can implement into your life right away. So if you have gotten value so far, here's what I want to do for you. So for those that want to go a little deeper, I want to be able to amplify that for you. So I want to show you how we could dive a little deeper and put all the information that you've learned so far in these workshops and more into action, because, you know, that's always the key, right? Taking action. It's one thing to learn things, and it's another to actually put it into action. So there's a lot of information out there, all right? And there's a lot of misinformation out there. I know, because I've been there. You remember my story of how it took me 5 years to weed through it all, right? And so I don't want you to have to wait 5 years, all right? And I truly, from the bottom of my heart, don't. I don't like seeing women in pain and suffering, and so I certainly don't want to see you suffering for another 5 years. So what I've done is I've put together a tailored group program that will give you all the information you need. All right, it's basically what I wish I had when I first started my healing journey. Now, if I had this information and I was able to find it, my journey would have been a lot shorter. So my hope is that it saves you the time and trouble of trial and error, which is what I went through, while giving you the results that you want, right? And again, that's the key, getting the results. That's what we all want. So I want to tell you a little bit about what you're going to get. So in this program is for you if you want to reduce or eliminate painful periods, or if you are someone that suffers from painful period each and every month and you are tired of it, this is going to be a program for you. If you want to have a regular cycle for once in your life, this program is going to be for you, right? That was me 7 years ago. I just wanted to have a normal period like everyone else. If you want to have more energy and less pain, and honestly, who doesn't want to have that, right? Then this program is going to be for you. If you want to enjoy life without being knocked down by pain or taken out by the high and low roller coaster that it can sometimes feel like we're on as women, especially during our cycle, then I want to help you get out of that. If you want your period to not disrupt your life, right? If you want to literally be able to sift through life without having to have any major disruption each and every month, then we're going to help you with that. And if you want to not have to take sick days every month, right? If you don't want to be laid out in pain or having to go to the emergency room, then this is going to be for you. And lastly, if you want to experience life without being held back, if you want, you know, like for me, I have goals and dreams that I want to achieve, and I want my health to be able to support that. I don't want it standing in the way. So if that's the same for you, then this program is going to be for you as well. So I want to explain a little bit about what you're going to get during this program. So you get my support for 3 months. So this is a 3-month program that you can join in on from the comfort of your own home. So what it's going to be is you're going to have weekly step-by-step processes designed to bring your body back into balance. So I've basically laid out the 3 months and I've broken it down week by week. And each week you have a step to take. Now for me, again, the biggest thing for me was I had a lot of information in front of me and it was almost like overwhelmed, right? I didn't know where to start. I didn't know what the first step should be. And that overwhelm can sometimes freeze you and stop you from taking any step at all. So I've eliminated that for you by breaking it down step by step so that each week you know exactly what you're working on, and that's what you focus on for that week. So some of the things that we're going to work on are mindset, because change isn't easy. I'm not going to pretend that it is. And that's why we work on mindset, because there are shifts we can make and there are things we can do to make change easier. So the first thing that we do is focus on your mindset. The second thing that we focus on is elimination. So we eliminate things that aren't beneficial for you, whether that be food or stresses. So we focus on eliminating items that don't serve or support your health. We also bring in healing foods, right? So I go through specific foods that are helpful to heal and overcome the symptoms that you're experiencing. Because as I've mentioned before, when we really start to bring these things in consistently and in a amount that allows us to use it medicinally, that's when it starts to build up in your body to really make a difference. We also talk more about targeted herbs and supplements. All right, food is a great baseline for us to be able to build a foundation on, and then herbs and supplements can help take us even further. We also talk about stress reduction. And I know we've talked about this a little bit before as well, but I can't tell you enough how important it is. It was something that I ignored until I couldn't anymore, until my body was literally screaming, saying, you need to address this. All right, so we can't heal if we're constantly stressed and constantly running our adrenaline. So we talk about stress reduction. And we also talk about emotional support. And I'm also going to be looking into bringing in additional resources for you if you want to go a little bit deeper in that way as well. There will also be live calls each and every week to keep you moving forward, because that is the key. We want to be moving forward. I want you to be taking the steps. I want you to be implementing things, and I want to help keep you on track. So there's going to be live calls each week that we can use as a check-in to make sure that you're moving forward, so that I can answer any questions and any stops that you might be experiencing, any blocks. That's what the live calls are for us to have a discussion about what's going well, what you need support with to keep you moving forward. You're also going to get a workbook and a weekly accountability check-in. So this workbook helps you to make sure and kind of keep in check that you've done what you could for the week, you've written down what's going well, you've written down what your challenges are, and we can use that as an accountability check-in. Now, accountability was something that was key for me. In my healing journey, I was always able to be more accountable to someone else than I was to myself. And so it's always something that I incorporate into my programs and one-on-one work with people, because I just think it's so important. It's just such an important tool for us to ensure that we're continuing to move forward and move past our blocks. I'm also going to be providing additional resources to help support you on your journey. So if you're interested in continuing to learn more and dive a little deeper, I'm going to provide resources for that as well. Now, I know that that on its own is a lot, and it's exactly what you need to be able to take you through this process. But I didn't want to stop there. I wanted to give you some bonuses. So there's going to be a private Facebook group. And what this really allows you to do is be part of a community and a sisterhood. And I've experienced this firsthand with myself, being in, really well-structured group programs that create this kind of container of safety that allows you to build a real community and sisterhood amongst one another. It allows you to connect with other women that are experiencing something similar to what you're going through. And I just think that enough can't be said about the power that that holds, being able to connect in community with other women, supporting one another to overcome our symptoms and our challenges and to come out victorious on the other side. So there's going to be a group for that where you can connect with other women, have conversations, ask questions, and I think it's going to be really beautiful. You're also going to get access to my paid membership site. Now, this is something new that I've actually, that I'm starting to offer. This is my paid membership site. So this is actually something that normally runs at $29.97 a month. And it's a site where you can go to get, tips and tricks about healing endometriosis, PCOS, period pain, irregular cycles, weight gain, all of these different things that we talk about. and it's going to have a vault of information in there. And so again, it's another resource for you to have. So this is a paid membership that I offer, but I'm going to throw it in for free as part of this group program. So you get access to this site and this information as well. Lastly, you have the opportunity to actually get a private session with me as well. Now, my purpose in offering this is that I really want this to allow you to, even though you're going through a group program, to help you customize it to you. Now, this session is going to be available to those who join the program before December 15th. All right, I'm going to talk a little bit more about December 15th in a moment. But the value that I really see here is this session can be used at any time during the 3 months. So whenever you see fit, whether that be in the beginning or once something comes up like a real block for you. But what this session is really going to be is it's going to allow me to dive a little deeper with you to get a real better understanding about what's happening for you, what's front of mind for you. And it's going to allow me to give you tips on what you should really be focusing on. And that's going to allow you to tailor the group program for you. So I think that that can be really, really valuable. And I really want to be able to set you up for the best success that I can. So this group program begins January 13th, 2020, right? I can't believe that it's almost 2020. It's crazy. So it starts January 13th. Now the investment for this group program is normally $697, all right? That's what I normally offer it for. But as I mentioned, I have a very special gift for all of you joining me on this workshop series, because I've really appreciated you joining in, having conversations, and going through this series with me. So my special gift to you for going through this workshop series is a discount of $100. All right, that's what I'm offering to you. And that actually brings the investment into my group program down to $597. So this special price will actually only be available to those who register before December 15th. So there's that December 15th again. So if you register before December 15th, you get the special price of $597, and you also get a bonus private session with me to really help you to use this group program, to customize it, to make it as successful for you as possible. Now, there are also payment plans available to those who need as well. So I want you to know that you don't have to be in pain or suffer any longer. All right, I want you to be able to move through life effortlessly, I truly do, without having to plan your life around your period. All right, how awesome would that be, not to have to plan your life around your period? So I'm drawing on my 7 years of studying and experience to make this journey as seamless as possible for you. So anything that I wished I would have had during my journey and all the things that I'm drawing from the clients that I've worked with, I'm putting it together in a group program to make it as easy as possible for you to go through this step, to make the changes that you want to make, to see the results that you want to see in your life. And I know that you will see major changes in your life and your health. So I invite you to come and have a conversation with me. All right, find out if you're a fit for this program. So if you're interested and if this really resonates with you, you can simply email me at info@jenniferbago.ca, and we can set up a time to talk, to explore this program more, to look at your goals and your symptoms and see what you're wanting to get, and see if this group program is a fit for you. All right, that's all that I have for today. I'm so honored and grateful to have been able to share this 3-part workshop series with you. And I'd like to take any questions now that you may have. So I'm just going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to come back to video. There we go. So again, thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to open it up to questions now if you have any. So if you have a question, simply type it in the chat. Or if you have a question, you can type that you have a question in the chat and then I can unmute you if you want to have a discussion about it instead. So I invite you now to, I know I'm open for any feedback that you want to offer, want to give me, any questions. I'm open to entertaining them and answering those now. So type them in the chat. Just going to give it a second here. I'm just going to grab some more water. Yes, so there will be different payment methods available. I can do e-transfers and I can also do credit card payments, so that's not an issue for sure. Yeah, so there's going to be, I'm going to be emailing you out your weekly task or your weekly step that you're going to take. You're going to get an email every week with your steps that you need to take for that week. And then there's going to be the Facebook group that will house some documents, as well as be a platform for you to connect and share and ask any questions. So I hope that answers. Yeah, awesome. And then there's going to be the live calls as well. So it's going to be a Zoom, a live. I think that I'm going to do a Zoom call so I can record it. I've thought about doing a Facebook Live in the group. I haven't decided 100% yet, but it'll be some kind of video call so we can see one another, interact, and ask questions. And I'll probably ask you to submit questions ahead of time too, so I can make sure those all get answered during that time. Yeah. Oh, awesome. I'm glad that you've enjoyed the series. Thank you so much for that. All right, is there any other questions, comments? Awesome. Well, I'm so glad that you've gotten value out of this workshop series. And again, for anyone interested in joining us in the group program, it starts January 13th. The discount, the $100 discount that I'm offering, is available until December 15th. And if you register by then, you also get that private session with me to really help you to customize this program for you. And again, to book a session to talk about this further, you can simply email me at info@jenniferbago.ca. So there's no more questions, then I'm going to say thank you all so much for joining me. I've loved sharing this workshop series with you, and I look forward to chatting with you. Thank you.